Welcome back to Full Moon Rising Yoga. My name is Karen. We're going to go into the second class of the three-class series of Back to Basics for yoga. Let's start in a seated position, and let's just take a moment to go ahead and just bring ourselves present on our yoga mat. And we're going to just take a little bit of time here together. We're going to continue with some of the same poses that we went through in the first class, and we're going to add on just a little bit, and we're going to go through a little bit more in a flow sequence. So remember, when we're practicing, we want to be present in our body, with our breath, keeping our focus either on the breath or the muscles that we're focusing on. So we want to be completely present in our practice. So let's go ahead and start. Let's lower your chin to your chest. And then back to center. Look over your right shoulder. And back to center. Now look over your left shoulder. And come back to center. Lower your chin to your chest. Back to center. Now lower your right ear towards your right shoulder, stretching the left side of the neck. And back to center. Lower your left ear towards your left shoulder, stretching the right side of your neck. And back to center. And let's start with our shoulders. Let's go ahead and make some small circles with our shoulders, sitting straight up, making sure that our seat is level on the floor, that we're not leaning towards one side more than the other, that we're nice and centered. Pull your belly button in towards your spine. Now let's go ahead and reverse direction, rolling your shoulders forward. And back to center. And so remember, with yoga, we want to synchronize our breath with our movements. And this is a good one that we'll do, that you can work on that a little bit. So let's go ahead and inhale, sweep both arms up overhead, sitting straight up. Lower your right arm towards your mat. Let your fingertips just gently touch your mat. If you like, you can use one of your blocks. And then you're going to go ahead and just lower your right elbow and lean, stretching the left side of your body, keeping your seat level on the mat. Now inhale, both arms up, and lower your left arm to hand towards the mat, your fingertips on the mat. Slowly lower that elbow and then reach towards the mat. When you're holding in the pose, you do continue to breathe. You're not waiting to come out of it for your inhale or exhale. So take a couple breaths here, just your normal breathing breath. Your next inhale, bring your arm up. So let's do it one more time. Exhale, arm to the right. Nice. Lean towards the right, bending that right elbow. Couple breaths here. Your next inhale, sweep your right arm up. Next exhale, left hand towards the mat, fingertips on the mat. Lower that left elbow a little bit, leaning towards the left. Your next inhale, both arms overhead. Now let's go ahead. You're going to take both of your arms. We're going to bring them down, but we're going to rotate only our upper body towards the right. As you're rotating on your exhale, you're going to bring your hands down, and they're going to either touch the mat or you can use your blocks. And so we're just going to do a really soft side twist here, keeping your seat on the mat. And you're gazing a little bit over your right shoulder. Take a couple breaths here. On your next inhale, go ahead and bring both arms up overhead. And let's exhale in a soft side twist towards your left. As you exhale, lower your hands down and just a light gaze over your left shoulder. Still sitting nice and straight, pulling that belly button towards your spine, engaging your abs. Bring both arms up overhead. And a nice exhale through the mouth. Lower your arms down. Let's go ahead and we're going to bring our legs out straight. Go ahead and just rock your knees a little bit. You can tap the top of your legs. And we're just going to do a little bit of a forward fold here to help stretch that lower back. When we're doing the forward fold, just be sure that we're sitting straight up. And we're only going to go as forward as you can keep the integrity of your spine being straight. So maybe it just looks like this for you, and that's great. You can keep your knees bent if you like to go a little bit lower. We just want to avoid having our back rounded to feel like we're going deeper in the stretch. And over time, you will be able to go deeper into your stretches, into the poses. So I'm just going to look down at my knees so that way the crown of my head and my spine is in a nice straight line. I've got my knees bent a little bit here, and my hands are just resting on the top of my feet. And slowly walk your hands up your legs. Very good. And let's go ahead and move into table. I usually just cross my legs and roll forward, or you can bring your legs around. So we're going to go into table. And just a reminder, shoulders are over wrists, your hip is over your knee. We're nice and square, keeping a nice flat back. And let's go into that cat-cow. So go ahead and inhale into cow. That's pressing your stomach towards the mat. Exhale, cat, rounding your back, pulling your belly button towards your spine, pushing your tops of your feet into the mat just lightly, but that helps keep your balance. Now, exhale, cow. Excuse me, inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. One more time. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. And let's meet back in table. So let's go ahead and take your right hand and we're just going to raise it up off of the mat just a little bit, keeping your balance, both knees on the floor, pressing the back of your feet into the mat to keep balance, having some weight in your left hand, but trying to keep your weight centered on your knees as well. I'm gazing just straight down at the mat so my spine is in a nice line. And if you can, go ahead and raise your arm so it is straight out in front of you. My palm is facing in. And go ahead and lower your right hand to the mat. And let's do that with the left side. So just slowly raise it up as far as it's comfortable for you, keeping the balance in your pose. And then work your way towards a straight arm, keeping your gaze at the mat. Just looking down at your right hand. And then slowly lower your left hand to the mat. And now we're going to do the same with our left leg. You're going to slowly just shift and put a little bit of weight in your left hand and left knee. Take your right leg and just straighten your leg out. You can go ahead and take your foot, your ankle into circles, clockwise. And I'm just gazing down in between both of my hands. And see if you can go ahead with your foot flexed. Raise your leg as far as it's comfortable, keeping your balance. Once you start losing balance, stop there and see if you can go up to have your leg straight. And lower your knee back to the mat. Let's go ahead and get our balance back in table. And we'll do the same with our left. So let's go ahead and shift your weight into your right knee, your right hand, keeping nice balance, pulling that belly button towards the spine, straighten your left knee, and then go ahead and raise it You can look over your left shoulder to see when you should stop for that straight line. You can go ahead and circle your ankle on this side as well. And then go ahead and slowly lower. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back into a nice restorative resting child's pose. So with child's pose too, you can put your forehead on the mat. You can put your forehead, if it's more comfortable for you, on a block. You can separate your knees just a little bit if that's more comfortable. Now go ahead and push back with your hands. Raise yourselves up. And let's go ahead and stand. And for you, you can go ahead and stand at the front of your mat, but I'm going to stand in the center and face you. So at the front of your mat, let's go ahead and move into mountain pose. Remember, mountain pose, if you even just start from your feet and just focus on the muscles in your body and go all the way up to the top of your head or your crown. So with our feet, I like to just move my toes a little bit and grip the mat, get a nice grip. I like to straighten my legs, engage my glutes, but I relax my knees while after I do that. I go back and check on my knees. Let's make sure our hips are nice and centered. Pulling the belly button towards our spine. Shoulders are back, palms are out, shoulders are down, chin is level to the floor. And this is mountain pose. And feel your balance here and your focus. Okay, let's go ahead and raise both arms up overhead on an inhale. If you like, you could put your hands together. If you were to fold your hands and put your fingertips up, we can go ahead and either with your arms apart or your hands together. We're just going to do a slight bend to the right. Only go as far as your body is allowing you to go. And raise up. On your next exhale, now to the left. And both your feet are staying right where they are, keeping our hips facing forward and back to center on your inhale. Let's go ahead and exhale and just a small back bend. We're not pushing. You don't want to push too far, with your knees and your hips. You just want to have just a nice small back bend. And what helps is pushing your hands up towards the ceiling and just having your gaze go up just a little bit. Look at your hands and then back to center. Bring both arms down to your side. And let's go ahead and come back to our breath in mountain pose. Let's go ahead and do that one more time. Raise both arms up overhead on an inhale. Exhale, slight bend to your right. Inhale, slight bend to your left. Inhale, exhale, both arms to your side. Now let's go ahead and move to the back of your mat. And we're going to go into the warrior one and warrior two. So we're at the back of our mat. Let's take our right foot, step it forward into the lunge. Back foot is at a 45-degree angle. Keep your hips facing forward. Go into that lunge where your knees over your ankle. I like to keep my hips centered. Put your arms both out straight and raise them up overhead, working towards your elbows towards your ears. Let's do a slight rotation into warrior two. And this is where, I'm going to switch. We're going to bring both arms down. And we're now in warrior two. Your back foot, making sure your back ankle is in line with your front ankle, and you can look down when you're in your poses and you want to check your form to make sure that you're doing it working towards the waist, so you don't want to hurt yourself. So just check your alignment. Take a minute. Make sure everything is in the right placement. When your arms are up and you're in Warrior Two, gaze over your right hand, right over the right middle finger. Straighten your right leg. And let's go ahead and move your left arm, and let's go back into Warrior One. You're going to pick up that left foot, get that back to a 45-degree angle, and you're in Warrior One. Let's pick your left foot up, drop both arms to your side, and step to the front of your mat. Now make sure that you're, I'm just moving sides a little bit to help if you needed to look at the screen, but just make sure you're at the back of your mat either way, and you have the room of your mat to step forward. So let's do I'm gonna do this side, the left side. So we're in mountain pose at the back of our mat. Step forward with our left foot, back foot into 45-degree angle, lower into that lunge, hips are squared, arms up next to your elbows, next to your ears. Now let's move into Warrior Two, shifting that back foot just a little bit, checking our alignment of our ankles and our knee. Check our arms, shoulders back, gazing over the left hand. Now let's slowly move in to Warrior One again, rotating your arms, rotating that back foot to a 45-degree angle again. Warrior One. Lower both arms to your side, step that right foot up to the front of your mat. And let's go ahead and connect back with our breath. Let's go back into mountain pose. You can come to the middle of your mat. Mountain pose. So let's go ahead and place the palms of your hands on the top of your quads, your thighs. Bend your knees just a little bit. And let's go ahead and just lower your hands down as far as you can go, keeping your back flat. If you can go right below the knee, never resting on the knee, so we don't want to put pressure on the knees, below the knee, just hold here for a moment. On your next inhale, just slowly raise your body up, roll your shoulders back. And let's do that one more time. Palms in our hands, palms are on front of our legs. Let's go ahead and just slowly bending your knees, moving your hands down, keeping your back nice and flat, gazing in front of you. And slowly rise. Bring your shoulders back. Let's bring our legs out, a little more than hips width apart in the center of our mat, facing forward. And let's go ahead, we're going to sweep both arms up on an inhale to a star. So almost a V. You can see my hands in a V. And then let's go ahead, we're going to bend our knees and at the same time, bend your elbows. And this is Goddess. And now slowly, both at the same time, straighten your legs, straighten your arms back into star. And then lower back into Goddess. And then back to star. So one more time. Keeping that belly button tucked in, shoulders back, chin parallel to the floor. Your feet are flat on the floor. And then press up. Go ahead and lower both of your arms down on an exhale. And then we're going to do the same thing with our hands on our quads, our thighs. Let's go ahead and Just slowly bend your knees and lower until your hands are right below your knees, keeping a nice flat back. If you can, at this point, straighten your knees, keeping that flat back. If your knees are still bent, that's great. That's still good. We want to work towards straightening the knees without locking them. Now go ahead and bring your hands down to your mat. Take your left or right foot. You're just going to bring it behind the other and slowly come to a seated position on the mat. Back to easy pose. So what we'll do here is you're going to take your right arm and you're going to, with your palm facing the sky, arm is straight, you're just going to lift that arm up, sitting nice and tall, bend your elbow as if you're going to pat yourself on the back. This is a really great pose we'll be working into for the next class, but this is getting ourselves ready, but we can do what's called a self-assist, that if we need to use my left hand, I could help kind of raise my right elbow a little if I want to get the hand down my back a little bit more. So that's a self-assist. But just go as far as it's comfortable for you. It's called meeting your edge. We don't want to go past the edge. We don't want to hurt ourselves. Raise your right hand up and lower your right hand to your knee. Let's do the same on the other side. Take your left arm with the palm facing the ceiling. Raise it up with a straight arm and just bend that elbow as if you're going to pat yourself on the back. You can do a self-assist if you'd like to just get a little bit more movement down your back. Straighten your arm and lower to your knee. Now take your right hand with your palm facing the floor. It's out in front of you, and you're just going to wrap it around, and you're going to put the back of your hand just on your lower back. So I will turn around. So I have my hand facing the floor. I'm just going to put it on my lower back right here, just sitting straight up. If you want to go a little bit further, you can self-assist a little bit with your shoulder, and you can put your hand, so we'll have our hand to our lower back. Eventually, we'll work towards, and I can self-assist myself here, my hand going up the middle of my back. But right now, what's great with yoga is that we're working towards these postures. And so right here, I'm getting a lot out of this. My shoulders are back, my abs are engaged, my seat is on the floor. And go ahead and bring your right hand forward. And let's do the same with the left side. So we have palm facing the floor. You're just going to rotate your arm back. The back of your left hand is on the bottom left of your back. And then go ahead and release. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put both of those together. So we're going to take the right hand with the palm up, left hand with the palm down, but let's just do one at a time. Raise your right arm up and just pat yourself on the back. Leave your hand there. Take your left hand that has the palm to the floor and just put it so the back of your palm is to your lower back. That's all. And sit up straight and just nice gaze in front of you and just take a few breaths here. And to release, bring that left arm back to the front. You can put your left hand on your left knee and slowly, you can actually use your left hand too, just nicely release that right arm up and down. Nice slow movements. And we'll do the same thing on the left side. Let's take the left hand, go ahead and reach out with your palm facing up. Right hand, palm facing down. But your left hand, let's just raise that arm up. Bend that elbow as if you're going to pat yourself on the back. But go ahead, pat yourself on the back. We made it to yoga today. Take your right hand, put the back of your right hand on your lower back. And if you need to self-assist, to get a little bit deeper into a stretch, feel free to do that. This is a great pose too, where we could use our straps as well. So if I had my right hand's going up and I'm putting it on my back, what I could do, and you can go back to seated easy pose, and is I could use my strap to help, and eventually you would work your way up. That's just an example of how we can use props in yoga. Okay, so you're here in seated pose. Now let's go ahead and we're just going to rotate. So we're facing the long way down our mat. We're going to straighten our legs out and we're going to bend your knees, both of your knees. Your feet are just, your legs are nice and hip width apart. Bring both of your hands up, or you can place them on the top of your legs or have both of your hands out with your palms facing each other. We're going to lower down to the mat, engaging your abs, one vertebrae at a time, and come down to the mat. Lower both hands to your side. Straighten both legs. Let's go ahead and bring in your right knee. Clasp it with your hands. Go ahead and circle your right ankle. For your left leg, flex your foot. So that is engaged as well. So your left foot's flexed, your right ankle's going in a circle. And lower your right knee. Straighten your right leg. Bring in your left knee. We'll do the same on the opposite side. Clasping your knee, right foot is flexed, and then your left foot can go in circles with your ankle. And go ahead and straighten your left leg. If you like, you can go ahead and bring both knees in towards your chest and just give yourself a nice rock back and forth. Hug your knees. And go ahead and straighten both your legs. And now prepare for Shavasana. You can take a moment if you need a blanket, any eye coverings. Some people, you can always put, what's nice is a rolled up towel under your knees is always nice, or your yoga blocks under your knees. If you want to have a little bit of pressure taken off your lower back. Palms are both facing up. Your legs are separated just a little bit. Let your feet just relax and fall open. And then slowly close your eyes. And let's take one cleansing breath. Inhale through your nose, nice deep breath. Stomach expands. Exhale through your mouth, pulling your stomach towards your spine. And then bring yourself to your normal breathing pattern. Slowly bring movement by wiggling your toes, your fingers. When you're ready, roll over to one side. Again, you can put your head in your hand, your forehead on the mat, your temple on the mat. I'm just going to take a couple breaths here. Place your hand, would be my left hand, I'm on my right side, into the mat. Assist you in coming back to a seated position. You can either remain with pushing up with your eyes closed, or you can open them. Now we're in seated position. With your eyes closed, let's take one more cleansing breath. Inhale with sweeping both arms up overhead, palms together. Bring your palms to heart center on a nice exhale through your mouth. Slowly open your eyes. I want to thank you so much for joining me for today's class. Please feel free to do this class as often as you like. And whenever you're ready, I will meet you in the third class of the 3-class series for basic yoga. Thank you so much. And remember to visit the playlist on our channel. We do have a variety of different classes that are done with a variety of different instructors. Thank you and have a great day.